Good afternoon, New Orleans, or wherever you may be. It's 4 o'clock Wednesday, so this must be the Baldy and The Blonde show. I am your co-host, Tom Kowitz, with...
Michelle Godin.
Michelle Godin. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Tom.
So if you're new to tuning into Baldy and The Blonde, lucky you, because we talk about only topics that are really interesting, and we do it with total brilliance, and we're funny, and the best thing is we're always right.
Always right, and very, very speedy.
And the thing is, we really are always right. Because we check everything really carefully. We're not going to go on the air and be wrong.
No, we don't want to be wrong.
Plus, at home, I'm always right.
Well, I've asked your wife, and
she doesn't listen, so it doesn't. I could say anything.
I'm not calling her to the witness stand on that point.
Okay, thank you. So we got a lot of really interesting stuff today, so stay tuned. Yep. We're going to start with some, actually I have some mystery sound clips. Michelle she has no idea. She kept asking me, what's the first segment going to be? I said, hey, you'll find out when we get there.
Yeah.
You get to find out with everybody else.
He thinks this is going to be fun. I'm going to react on the fly.
All right, so really the theme of it is things that we hope that will be enacted or just carried out by Trump and his administration in the first 100 days or 100 hours, whatever.
Is this our wish list, the Santa Claus list?
Yeah,
okay.
kind of.
Okay.
So let's see here. Let's start with the first one is Kash Patel.
I love him.
He's nominated for
FBI director.
Is that what it is? FBI
yes,
director.
FBI director.
So here he is talking about wanting to have. We need an office permanently set up that literally runs 24/7, situated in the White House, basically declassifying everything that's reasonably declassified and released to the American people. Here's what he has to say.
Need a 24/7 declassification office. Sits in the White House, reports directly to you, and you take incoming from the United States of America. I want JFK. I want the 9/11 files. I want this. I want that. What the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Strzok and Page were texting each other. They were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI. They're having an extramarital affair together. They're sending each other texts about how much they hate Trump and are going to create an insurance policy to stop Trump. Then we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them. But it gets even better. Do you know what Strzok and Page received from the Department of Justice? A $1.5 million payout to settle a lawsuit that Strzok and Page brought for the improper disclosure of their personal text messages on FBI phones.
So we don't have time to talk about the backstory. That's a whole show by itself. That Strzok and Page are just talking.
Maybe we'll do that one day. It's fun.
But there was like 50,000 messages between those two
on personal,
on
not
FBI
on personal,
phones.
FBI phones.
Yeah, right.
So how'd they get money?
Basically, he's saying that we need to have a
24/7
declassifying operation going on. I'd be all for that. Now, he specifically mentioned, I think he said JFK, 9/11. Those are both obviously very controversial topics. It could take, you could do shows for years on those. But here's something regarding JFK. Obviously, we could go on forever about that. I want to play this clip. This is an eyewitness by one of the doctors who treated JFK at Parkland Hospital, one of the ER doctors. He was one of about 24 to 30 witnesses who all saw the same thing, a giant wound in the back of the president's head, about 4 inches, about the size of a softball, the back right part of his head. The reason that's important is the official, to this day, the official autopsy photos, the back of Kennedy's head is intact. I'll bet you didn't know that.
I had no idea.
And just that knowledge alone, that the back of his head is intact, combined with the eyewitness testimony, that's all you need to know to want to see every document they have. It's been 60 years they have to mess with the documents. But let's listen to what the eyewitness doctor had to say.
A large shattering injury in the right side and the right back part of the head. I was probably, I would estimate, no more than 18 to 24 inches above the back part of the president's head during the entire time that the efforts were being made to put the tracheostomy tube in place. So I think I probably got a closer look at the wound than anybody else did. And I was simply standing there with nothing to do but hold the retractor, so I was not preoccupied with anything else, but simply was looking directly down in the wound for a long period of time. I'd say probably 10 to 15 minutes at least.
So I have a doctor who saw it for 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow.
He described a giant wound in the back of his head, and to this day, you can look him up online. The official autopsy photos, the back of Kennedy's head is intact. How can that be?
Right.
How could we not all know that? And how can they withhold any documents from it?
we are the American people that pay for all of these so-called commissions and studies, and we have a right to know what our government is doing. They work for us. And I'm hoping, very optimistically hoping, that, we do get to see the JFK unredacted documents, which President Trump has promised to reveal. And I think the
Wow.
fact that he's got RFK,
He had 4 years to do it.
I know he did.
Come on.
But he says Mark Meadows talked him out of it at the last minute.
Well, okay.
Whatever.
That's
but
on Trump.
I'm absolutely
It's on
on Trump. Unlike
Yeah.
the left, I absolutely am very willing to say what our side does wrong.
Well, now here's Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Bobby's in his ear.
Here's Junior talking about the assassination of his father. You do know it wasn't Sirhan Sirhan. A lot of people don't know that. That's a bogus
that.
story, too.
He was led into a route through the kitchen, which he was not supposed to go to. And waiting in the kitchen in an ambush was Sirhan Sirhan standing in front of a steam table. And as my father approached the steam table, Sirhan fired at him 2 shots. One of those hit Paul Schrade. The other one went past my father's ear and hit a door jamb. Sirhan was then grabbed by 6 men in a dog pile, and he was backed onto the steam table. And Sirhan now was pointing the gun away from my father and fired 6 more shots. So there's 8 shots in the barrel. He fired 6 in the other direction, the opposite direction from where my father was. All of those shots hit people. So we know what happened to all of those bullets.
All right. A clip goes on for a little while longer. We don't have time to play the entire thing I clipped. But the bottom line is 2 shots were fired by Sirhan Sirhan, who was standing maybe 5 feet in front of Bobby
Bobby's
Sr.
father. Yeah.
And he fired 6 shots in the opposite direction, but he was killed by contact shots that were fired either touching him or no more than like an inch away from behind him.
Somebody on top of him.
Yes, and he mentioned the name Paul Schrade, who was hit by one of the bullets. That was one of his father's best friends. He said, Bobby said in this clip that Paul Schrade spent the last 20 years of his life trying to get Sirhan out of jail because he knew he was innocent. Jeez. And he was shot that day.
Yeah. I mean, we deserve the truth. This is our government. Supposedly they work for us, right?
Supposedly.
So
I mean,
let's hope.
I mean, it's about
Let's see.
time.
Yes,
Come
it
on.
is.
Let's see. What do I have next?
I love that the Kash Patel's position is let's have a 24/7
Okay.
info desk.
All
for
right.
the
Well,
people.
here's Tom Homan on that. While I'm looking.
Tom Homan is the nominee, for, probably the one getting the most press right now, the nominee for DHS, Department of Homeland Security, i.e. in charge of immigration,
Okay.
et cetera, the border.
Here's what he says.
Good old boy. Cop.
The Trump team coming to town. We're going to take control January 20th, and people are going to be held accountable. What did the United Nations have to do with this open border crisis? Who in the administration, the Biden administration, opened the doors on this humanitarian crisis? What NGOs were involved in this? We're going to be very transparent to American people, and we're going to tell them the truth what happened on this border by design, and we're going to let the American people know who was involved, why, and hold them accountable.
He used the word accountable, really, in government?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the
Wouldn't
whole,
that be something?
That's the whole theme of this incoming administration is, the leftist press likes to constantly paint all of the crusaders as being for retribution, and it's not retribution. We, the American people, have been wronged. Even if you don't know it, when your government is rogue and spying on people and disobeying the laws to further a political agenda, such as opening the border, which is completely against the law, to allow an invasion, that is against the law, and we are entitled to accountability. I love it. Go find out who is behind it at the UN and at the NGOs, and he's talking about the NGOs who are making all the money off this, and I know who they are.
All right, we're down to 2 minutes. I want to play a couple of clips here. Here's Trump himself, what he basically echoing what Homan just said. I want to play this.
Make sure that everybody plays by the same rules by providing a pathway to earn citizenship for those who are living in the shadows. A path that includes passing a background check and learning English and paying taxes and a penalty and getting in line behind it. Everyone trying to come here the right way.
Who is that?
Well, I lied.
That's not Trump.
No, I lied. I said it was Trump. I put it through a Trump filter. It wasn't very convincing, but let's just see who it was really. But that's somebody you'd want in his administration, right?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, the way he's talking. Let's see who that was.
Make sure that everybody plays by the same rules by providing a pathway to earn citizenship for those who are living in the shadows. A path that includes passing a background.
Okay, I'll cut it short.
Wait, don't rush. It's okay.
Nah, it's all right. So let's see.
That was cool. We don't have to rush through it.
Yeah, but we're down to a minute.
So
and 7
what?
seconds.
We have go to
I
the
know,
next segment.
But I got another one. This is.
I know, but that was cool. All right.
All right.
I like that.
Well-
I've never heard that before. You have like a voice disguise machine or what?
Yeah, I have a voice disguise machine. It's voicedisguisemachine.com. Jeez. All right. Well,
Wow, see that? Obama, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the
he knew.
point is, All right. The point is that Obama used to sound, and actually still would sound if he's being honest, although he doesn't know how to be honest. Who knows what
he's
he
a big
really
fat
thinks.
liar.
But
Skinny
at least he
liar.
said
He's a big skinny
in
liar.
that clip, you heard what he said.
Yes.
That basically he sounds like a hardcore right-wing MAGA America firster.
Yeah, that's what they all sound like.
Sounds
when
like somebody
listen.
you really would want in your administration.
Yes.
So I have actually a few more, and the other ones are real. I played a little goof one there, but I have some other clips, people that we really would like to see in the administration. I'm not sure that their names have been bandied about yet, but they're on our wish list. Well, you'll hear them for
This
your
is
own
more
self.
surprise stuff for me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, coming on the other side of the break. This is Tom Coates, Michelle Godin, Baldy and the Blonde. See you in a few. Baldy and the Blonde are back. I'm Tom Coates with my co-host, Michelle Godin.
Hello.
Michelle spent the last 3 minutes during the break haranguing me and scolding me and beating me about the head and neck because I cut off a stupid sound clip because I was trying to fit in some others, and then she talked over me. And
I
then we
want to
didn't.
hear the rest of it.
All right, so, okay, so
When
this is...
Democrats used to have, some sanity before they opened the border for an invasion.
All right, so
This,
we wanted to play a clip of someone who we'd like to see this type of person in the administration because of the way they're sounding on immigration. Here's that clip in its entirety.
Make sure that everybody plays by the same rules by providing a pathway to earn citizenship for those who are living in the shadows. A path that includes passing a background check and learning English and paying taxes and a penalty and getting in line behind it, everyone trying to come here the right way.
There you go.
Including learning English. Not even Trump is saying that. Who's that guy? That's pretty hardcore.
It's
funny. It
hardcore.
sounded like Obama.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know who it was,
that
but it
goes
sure
to
sounded
show
like
you.
Obama.
We've said it many times. There's a reason that so many people from the left have migrated over to the sensible side of constitutional government and the rule of law. And the more they yell about, the things they yell about the most on the other side are what they are the most guilty of
Well,
violating.
ain't that the truth?
That's
all right,
called
so-
the Alinsky rules for radicals. That's what they do.
All right, so the first one, I was just kind of goofing. I disguised the voice to sound kind of like Trump before to make you guess who it was.
Yeah, I guessed.
The rest ones are real. Now, I did disguise the voice because I want you to guess who this is.
Okay.
But it's a similar take on, well, actually, I forget this one. I think it's on immigration. Let's see.
All Americans are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
Well, it's kind of given away because it's obviously Trump because it talks about his administration. So I forgot that was in there. So obviously,
It's not Trump.
obviously, that was
I
Trump.
think I know who that is.
It sounded
I
like,
like Bill
sounded like RFK.
It did, but I think it's Bill Clinton because I hear a Southern accent.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you did.
I got
you
a good
too-
ear for accents.
I
so-
know. You do. You're too,
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you're too clever for me.
Well, it's because I
So-
could hear this, even though it was slowed
Right,
down.
let's see.
I knew
Wait,
it
where
was
is
Bill
that?
Clinton.
Where is?
Now, Bill used to harangue against illegal immigration. I'm telling you, this is why we
Right,
have
here.
so many
Here we go.
converts.
All Americans are rightly disturbed by
There
the
you go.
large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice
Sounds
as many
MAGA to me.
criminal aliens as ever before.
Mr. MAGA right there, And so when people are crying when the deportation starts, just remember,
Well,
it
You
used to
have-
be, it's the sensible position, it's the fair position.
you have one former president, two former presidents, both Democrats, saying largely the same thing.
Yeah, you got more surprises?
Actually, yeah, I got a couple
Is it
more.
another guessing game for me?
It is.
Okay, good.
Okay, so here's one. Definitely,
go.
this is definitely somebody we want to see in the cabinet because, well, what you're going to hear.
We will register everyone. We will check, because if you have committed a crime in this country or the country you came from, then you will not be able to stay. You will have to be deported. We will give you a path to legalization if you meet the following conditions. Pay a fine because you entered illegally, pay back taxes, try to learn English, and then you wait in line.
Wait in line, pay taxes, and learn English. Again, that's not even
Trump.
not even Trump is doing that. So who is this hardcore right winger?
I actually do not know. I cannot figure that one out. I give up.
Well, it's a hardcore right winger.
Okay.
We will register everyone. We will check, because if you have committed a crime in this country or the country you came from, then you will not be able to stay. You will have to be deported. We will give you a path to legalization if you meet the following conditions. Pay a fine because you entered illegally, pay back taxes, try to learn English, and then you wait in line.
Wow, and I'm just shocked. Another Democrat saying these people are more hardcore than MAGA.
They really are. And when you confront these people with their inconsistencies and their lack of logic, they don't care.
They don't care about that.
Because you know why?
They have no.
What is their goal? Their goal is power.
It's not. Yeah, they're not
communism.
principled. They're yes. Now here's another one. Now, okay, that's for immigration. This is one regarding another big issue today is the war that we are instigating. Right. So here's someone who's not playing around when it comes to what should be done to presidents who launch illegal wars.
Okay.
The president has no constitutional authority to take this nation to war unless we're attacked or unless there is proof that we are about to be attacked. Whoa. And if he does, I would move to impeach him.
Okay, those are strong words.
I know who that is. That's Joe Biden before he became an elderly, senile old man. It's funny because, what's he doing now? Maybe play that one again, because
the president has no constitutional authority to take this nation to war unless we're attacked or unless there is proof that we are about to be attacked. And if he does, I would move to impeach him.
That would be Exhibit 1 in the movement to impeach the elderly man pretending to be the president at the moment, Joe Biden. And Exhibit 1 is Joe Biden recommending his own impeachment back when his brain worked.
Yeah, and so there's been a lot of talk. It's kind of gone away about using the 25th Amendment against him.
Yeah.
But when you look that up, all that means is that the vice president and a majority of the cabinet basically write a letter to the president of the Senate saying that he's incompetent.
Yes.
But it's not as simple as that.
No, because he can defend it, right?
Then all he has to do is write a similar letter to the president of the Senate saying, "I'm not incompetent. I'm fine." And then they got to fight it out.
Well, why don't they impeach him? And we have a trial.
Because we don't have anybody with guts in Washington, including the Republicans.
Guts.
Where are they?
Yeah, they're just. I think Green filed impeachment articles, and I have to look that up on the break. But somebody filed impeachment articles. They should have done it immediately.
I get that. It's one thing to file, but it's another thing. It filed and then gets buried. It gets round filed and shredded.
Trial in the Senate would last, for the rest of it. But at least it would tie him up because he is hell bent on taking us to nuclear war. This is we have never, ever has the United States fired missiles at Russia.
Yeah, well, here we are now.
And this man is
with a few weeks to go.
Freaking duck whose warlike policies were soundly rejected by the American people. Yeah. And yet he has the gall. It's almost like, he's shooting us the bird. I don't know what to say.
And who in Washington is raising hell?
Nobody.
Right, come on.
Bunch of useless.
Like I said, maybe somebody filed articles of impeachment. I don't even know. And that's the whole point, is that if it was done, fine, it's done and then forgotten about.
World War III, this guy is not, he has us on the brink. On the brink.
Well, and again, it's probably not him.
Well, regardless, I didn't vote for Tony Blinken or that other jerk. What is his name? Ran out of my head. But anyway, we do not deserve what's happening here. He is full on trying to get us in. Somebody in the administration who's ever running the country is trying to get us in full on nuclear war with Russia because although they like to talk about Putin, Putin ain't in charge. He has people that think in Russia that he's a wuss for not doing something.
Well, yeah, both sides are dealing with war hawks, and not that they're trying to start a war, they're only doing everything that you would if you were trying. We will be back after this break.
Welcome back, New Orleans. This is Michelle Godin with Tom Coates, Baldy and The Blonde. We are here every Wednesday at 4, but more importantly, you can listen to us anytime at baldyandtheblonde.com, which will link you to our YouTube page. And the advantage of that, of course, is that Tom takes the commercials out. So you get a lot of information crammed into about 38 minutes. And we try to keep you up to date with the most interesting things going on. So you don't have to spend a lot of time, listening to podcasts and stuff because we do it. And also, if you would please follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Baldy Blonde. There's an E on Blonde, at Baldy Blonde, Blonde. Kind of spicy over there. Anyway,
you can subscribe to our YouTube channel when you
Yes,
get
you
to-
can.
So if you link to, if you go to baldyandtheblonde.com, it links you to all of our old shows, and when you get there, you
well,
can
not
subscribe.
all. We lost most of our old shows.
Oh, I just mean this
Oh, you mean this go round?
go round.
By that I mean, for those that don't know, we had this show for 3 years, about 10 years ago, and we came back recently.
And we
so,
just happen to have lost the whole archive. Of
yeah,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. We saved.
Although I think if we did a FOIA request, because I know they've been recording us.
You know it.
We do a FOIA request.
That's it. We can get all our shows.
Get all our
I'm-
shows.
you think I'm going to do
Trump
it?
needs to release all the Baldy and the Blonde
That's
shows.
it.
That's
It's
what
part
he
of the
needs to do.
secret archives.
So-
Anyway, we were talking about before we left about the lame duck, old goat in the White House who's trying to get us in World War III, and you and I have been talking about because I'm just like, why is this waiting period so long between the election and the inauguration? Given this old goat due to the decency standards, I can't say what I actually think about him, but Biden is abusing the American people right now because we have spoken and he is not listening. He is trying to get us in World War III.
Not
so
to mention
why
giving
does he have
away
some-
gazillions
Yeah,
of billions
I mean,
of
just
dollars.
as an
Yeah.
aside, however, at least he gave $1 billion yesterday to the homeless.
Oh.
Yeah. In Africa.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Okay,
Anyway.
I was wondering, okay, wait.
And-
What?
And wait.
That.
And
okay.
just it's a little aside to $50 billion that the EPA is frantically trying to get rid of on climate scam.
Oh, jeez.
Put it this way: James O'Keefe, who's an undercover reporter and a great reporter. You can follow him. I think he's OMG or something on Twitter. Anyway, he always gets these people drunk. He's got cute reporters and gets information out of people. And there's this young guy from the EPA just spilling his guts about how they've got $50 billion and they're trying the best to give it away. And he literally says it's like throwing gold bars over the Titanic. It's just our money, folks. Don't worry about it. We don't have any problems here in America, right? We don't have
Interesting-
homeless veterans on the streets.
Interesting that the metaphor he used was the Titanic.
Yeah. That would actually, he
Right.
probably didn't realize how accurate he was.
Right. Why did he say the Titanic? Because the gold, obviously, you could have said gold off of anything. He said the Titanic.
He
That's
did. He
very
literally
telling.
did. And you can look it up. It's EPA undercover video bust EPA ban 50. Just say $50 billion Titanic and you'll get it. Anyway, going back to Biden. So I've been asking Tom because he knows more constitutional history than me. How can it be that we have this extended period for a lame duck when it seems to me like, look, get him out of there yesterday because the American people have spoken and rejected the policies of the warmongering, money-wasting, scam artists, abuse of power, FBI disaster Democrats. Bye-bye, you're gone. But he's got endless amount of time to do damage.
Okay, so the reason for it, it's obvious.
happened?
It's established. It's constitutional. That's the date's set in the Constitution. It used to be March 4th because they just needed a lot more time back
Horse
then.
and buggies, yeah.
Needed a lot more time to get there, to assemble a team, right, for obvious reasons. Now, with today's technology, you could do that sort of thing. Trump assembled at least his wish list way in advance.
Yes.
Things could be done by remote. So it used to be March 4th. It was moved up to, January 20th.
How was it changed?
Oh, well, it's done by constitutional amendment.
Right.
The point is that could be done again. That we need it. There's been 27 amendments.
Right.
We need a 28th.
Yes, we do.
To shorten that to like a week. Seriously? No, okay.
I'm really.
Seriously, and if that would cause any hardships, okay, but it's nowhere near as bad as what's happening with the long delay.
This is terrible. I mean,
Okay, I'll give you 8 days.
Yeah.
If you need 8, okay, that's it.
That's it.
Now, here's the thing about a constitutional amendment. It sounds like very daunting when you think about to amend the Constitution. And there's a lot to it. But I got an interesting story for you about the 27th Amendment. The 27th Amendment is the one that says there has to be an intervening election before Congress can get a race. In other words,
Right.
a sitting Congress cannot vote themselves a race that they just get right then. There has to be an intervening election before the race kicks in. It was ratified in 1992, but it was first proposed and voted on with the original 12 amendments.
Get out.
10 became the Bill of Rights. 2 didn't pass. This was one of them.
No way.
It sat dormant for over 200 years. And then, I'm not kidding, and then
Wow.
a college student, a 19-year-old college student at the University of Texas, he was writing a paper for like a government class or a civics class. And in his paper, it was like a class project. He wrote that this amendment that we're talking about, it's not dead, it's just dormant, and it could still be ratified.
Wow.
His teacher didn't buy it and gave him a C on his paper. Well, he then took it on himself he pushed this matter. He wrote to all the state legislatures and pushed them hard for it, because for an amendment to be taken up in Congress, it doesn't have to start in Congress. It can start with 3/4 of the states telling Congress they want Congress to take it up.
That's correct.
And he got enough states to do that, and they got it to Congress, and then it takes 3/4 of the states to ratify, but it takes 2/3 of Congress to ratify. And this 19-year-old kid
What a great
is the one who picked up the ball after 200 years. Wow. One of the courts tried to say that that's an unreasonable amount of time. A higher court said that's not a matter for the courts. This is a political thing.
Yeah.
Who says it's dead? Because I think it was like something like 6 or 7 states ratified it in the 1790s, but it wasn't enough. And then it just sat dormant. Wow. And then this kid wrote a paper. Oh, and then they retroactively gave him an A+. So only A+. They don't give A+ at the University of Texas, but they made an exception.
Oh, that's
like
great.
20-something years later.
Wow.
So the point is, if you want a 28th Amendment to shorten the time between the election and the inauguration, it doesn't take an act of God. It takes a determined set of humans. This kid, he was 19 years old, and he did that.
That's pretty impressive.
It's incredible.
You know?
That's
major.
Yes.
I think we should, we need to shorten that time. That's just terrible.
It was shortened before because they realized that was just too long.
Yeah, and you just don't want a president to be able to disregard the will of the people. Again, I know I sound like a broken record on this particular episode of our show, but they work for us.
Yes, if you're the CEO,
we don't want nuclear war with Russia. Why? Why are we what?
If you're a CEO of a company and you fire your comptroller, you don't say, go ahead. You have control over the checkbook for the next few months. You are fired, but you can stick around for a while. And I shouldn't do this, but you can keep writing all the checks you want.
That's great.
And by the way, while you're at it, I don't even mind if you go slash some tires of some of your coworkers you don't like.
Yeah, let's start a gang war too.
Yeah, because that's what's happening on a massive scale. And the only reason, well, in my opinion, but luckily I have the advantage of being right all the time.
Of course, yes.
And
that's been established.
So Putin has shown great restraint.
Yes,
he's got war hawks on his side, you can bet.
Well, that's the thing. People don't know that here because we're not allowed to get any information. If you go and try to interview Putin, like Tucker Carlson, Russian agent.
Yeah, right.
And Americans today don't realize that's what we used to do. We would talk.
You talk.
You're supposed to talk to each other.
He's getting it from all sides. His country is literally being fired upon.
Yes.
And he's got war talks talking in his ear. He is showing great restraint. And for the record, I should have to explain this. I'm not a Putin agent or fan. I'm not a fan of any government.
Of course not. And certainly not authoritarians.
I recognize restraint when I see it.
Yes.
Right? And I recognize fraud and deceit and aggression when I see it. And I can see who's doing what.
Well, just so you know, your FBI file is being amended right now. Putin agent.
Oh, yeah.
Putin puppet. I mean, these people are such simpletons.
I could pull a Lee Harvey Oswald and say I want to defect and then come back and they'll pay my way and bring me back.
That's right.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's it. Well, we are Baldy and the Blonde, and we are here every Wednesday at 4, and you can listen to all of our shows at baldyandtheblonde.com, commercial free, or you can stream live at WGSO.com. You can follow us on X at Baldy Blonde. You can like us on social media. It would sure help us a lot.
And you could also just sit around for another couple of minutes and hear us for another
That's
segment.
it.
Yeah,
That's
you could
what
just do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, this is Tom Coates with Michelle Godin. Together, Baldy and the Blonde. We will be back in a few minutes. Baldy and the Blonde are back. This is Tom Coates with Michelle Godin.
Hello.
So we are here every Wednesday at 4 on WGSO, and you can listen to our old shows at baldyandtheblonde.com. Well, that will link you to our YouTube channel.
And follow us on X.
And follow us
at
on
Baldy,
X.
At Baldy Blonde.
So, I've never taken a caller.
Nope.
You took a couple calls when I was somewhere else. I was in Mexico or something like that.
Yeah, you were on.
And that's
on the
something we
beach.
don't normally do because we have so many things to talk about.
And so little time.
And so little time.
Yes.
That's what we say. So much tyranny, so little time. We have a caller on the line. We're going to make an exception. It's Matthew from Homa. We have two rules. You have to be brilliant, and you have to be quick, and you have to be right. So, Matthew,
let's go.
What do you have to say or ask? Go ahead. You have the floor.
Well, you had made the statement that the Congress people work for us. That is not true. They work for the people who finance their campaign.
I agree. I did not make the claim that they work for us. I would not say that. I'm going to throw that back at Michelle.
Well, they're supposed to work for us constitutionally,
Yes.
legislatively. The fact that they don't, Matthew, you are right. But I feel like it's a new day, and we are holding their feet to the fire. So
we still have a lot of work to do to get that done, and we will endeavor to do it.
Yes, we will.
That's an excellent point. Thank you, Matthew, for calling.
Thanks, Matthew.
There is no way they work for
They're
us.
not working for
if
us.
I were Matthew,
Good point, Matthew.
I would have picked up the phone and called. And you know what? You did make that comment. I
did.
let it go. I'm not going to beat you up over it. But if I was a caller, I would. And I'm glad Matthew called.
It's
'Cause
true.
It's
They don't.
so
They
obvious.
so
Come on.
don't care what
if
we
they
think.
worked for us, would we be 39
Trillion
gazillion
in debt.
It's like up to 35 now, something like that.
And the laws they passed and the things they, I mean, just the fact that we have a drooling, demented person pretending to be the president and they haven't done anything about it. I mean, what?
No. Nobody
what?
is talking seriously about
No
that
one's talking
at
about
all.
the war.
No.
If you do, you're a Putin puppet. These people are crazy up there. I mean, they're just like cockroaches. They're disgusting. And half the Republicans are Democrats. Or I don't know how. Maybe there's about 20 people that are doing some good up there. Maybe.
There's just not very many who really are trying to do. I mean, what they're sworn to do, what they're elected to do.
Well, we got some disruptors.
And we're not saying anything that 99% of America doesn't believe, I guess. But I've come to the conclusion, really, everything they're doing there is theater. They're really there. They're really there.
Money.
To just scoop as much money as they can and hand it out however they see fit. And we're
look at Biden.
not talking thousands or millions. We're talking
talking
billions and trillions of dollars.
Yes.
And I'm not even saying this to be sarcastic or funny. That's the entire operation. The rest is theater.
Well,
with a nice set, with a rotunda and suits and
it.
pantsuits and swearing in ceremonies, and that's all garbage. It's BS. The real operation is to steal us blind.
Boots do the work.
You
suits
don't get
the money.
$35
That's it.
trillion in debt any other way.
That's it. We
That's why they're there.
We don't have the benefit of the $35 trillion. For example, the $240 billion to Ukraine so far, the billion yesterday to African homeless, while we have veterans with their legs lost in the streets all over this country. But Dementia Man gave away $1 billion to Africa yesterday. And the war is costing us, I mean, it's just off the charts. And then the Bidens themselves. Why did Joe pardon Hunter? Because he's a good daddy?
Oh,
No. Crackhead's son was the bag man for Joe and collected millions that went into suspicious bank accounts of the entire Biden family. So I guess we'll see more pardons coming.
And
right?
besides everything you mentioned, untold number of things that we have no idea about and
Absolutely.
will never know about.
Never know.
The unfortunate reality is we are literally ruled and owned by corrupt degenerates. That's the truth.
But I know you're more skeptical than me, but I really have a lot of hope that we have change on the way. There are some really, really interesting cabinet picks who can really kick some butt if they are allowed to do their jobs.
Yeah,
and I have a lot of
you-
hope and faith that
I have
can
I
happen.
have a little hope. Lucy is always pulling that football every single time. I'm hoping maybe they have a different holder
I
this
think
time.
they do.
But I'm a little hopeful. I'm not at all optimistic. I'm a little bit hopeful. They need to shoot for the stars.
Yes.
And hope to just get into low Earth orbit, because if they can make even 2% of the changes they're hoping to make, at least that'll put us on a different trajectory.
That's right.
And it'll show people it can be done. And for example, if you could, and they can't, if you could get rid of the Department of Education.
They can.
Well, I know they can, but I'm practically.
I think they might do it.
In practically, can they? I hope. If they can, it would show that. Oh, look, the world didn't end.
Well,
we can actually do this, maybe with other departments.
Let's look at Elon Musk, for example, who is in charge of Doge.
I know, but all he can do is recommend.
I know,
That's
but
all.
Russ Vought is the Office of Management and Budget, and he is simpatico to your beliefs and my beliefs.
I know.
He believes we need to get rid of the massive bureaucracy. And then I was listening to Kash Patel, who is, up for FBI director, and is eminently qualified, by the way. I'm so sick of the press with their nonsense. But anyway, he was speaking common sense. He's like, okay, we have this FBI building in D.C. There are 7,000 people in that building. He's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Get rid of, this whole spy network that they have on political opponents, and have them get out there and solve the border crimes, the cartel crimes. Get back to work. Not trying to get your next government promotion or sliding from one cushy desk job to the next. I mean, it is time for people to either work or be gone.
And you're right, but there is a much bigger issue that they need to touch. And if they can touch this one, then I really will be optimistic. And that is the massive military spending and our massive military presence in nearly every country of the world. And there's maybe 800 some bases.
Yes.
In 180, 90 countries.
But
I don't know, but about that.
But we have depleted our ammunition and our weaponry in favor of Ukraine.
Yes.
So we do need to fix that, because
exactly. And the money needs to go back to the contractors to rebuild our stores. That's my point.
Yeah, no.
Who's talking anti-war here?
I couldn't be more anti-war.
I know, but if in DC, in this cabinet, if you look at who he's chosen, I like his picks too, unless you look at their stances on our aggression and presence all over the world. In that regard,
I disagree. I think that the president himself is the most anti-war president that we've had in 50 years.
I'm talking about shrinking our presence, not just launching wars, but closing this stuff down.
Well,
we need those conversations. Until I see that, I'm really not that optimistic.
My name is Michelle Godin, along with Tom Coates. We are Baldy and The Blonde. You can follow us at baldyandtheblonde.com. On X, we are at Baldy Blonde. We are here every Wednesday at 4, talking good government and bad government, and we will see you next week.